The media is now on a mission to make you believe the United States is about to descend into a civil war. Headline after headline, the fear-mongering is played out across this nation. This even appears to be a coordinated media attack on conservatives. And it's no coincidence this new narrative that a civil war is imminent surrounds the anniversary of January 6th Capitol security breach. Just listen to CIA advisor and so-called Civil War expert Barbara Walter on CNN last month.
We are no longer considered the world's longest democracy. That ended in January of 2021.
Unbelievable. So one unorganized tour of the Capitol ended 245 years of American success. You see what she's doing here? She claims January 6th is the spark that sent our nation into a downward spiral, pushing us towards a civil war. Well, not so fast. She and her leftist pals deceitfully blame, of course, who do you think? President Trump and his oh-so-violent supporters. But it's not Trump or his army of fans that are chipping away at our constitutional republic. It's our nation's bureaucrats, this ruling class of career, unelected government elites, the deep state, as we like to call them. Well, they weaponize their rules and regulations, their mandates and federal agencies. You see, the deep state has snatched power from Congress through rule changes and regulatory orders meant to oppress and control us all. We've seen it during the pandemic now. This is why our democracy is at stake. Not because Trump is some dictator or that conservatives have concocted this thirst for violence. That's all bogus. It's because we are losing our freedoms and we are facing a tyrannical government, and the people are rising up like never before. Not violently either, but instead with a unified, strong voice. This is what scares the left the most.
We, the people, do not comply. Children, our children are not comply. Freedom, 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 freedom. No more masks, no more masks, no more masks.
No more masks and chance of freedom. I love it. You can see there the people are mad, and rightly so. But I don't believe they are ready for violence as the media would like you to believe. Yet, Joe Biden's government is trying to create the illusion that we are somehow ready for violence. You and me, Stinchfield's army, Trump supporters. You know why he does this? He does this so the masses will accept the government silencing us. We're so evil that we have to be silenced. See, even imprisoning us would be well within their scheme of things because we're just evil. Like we see with the January 6th political prisoners. They're facing this. See, here's what's happening right now. 10 days from today, the Army, the United States military, is set to stage, quote, realistic guerrilla warfare exercises in rural North Carolina. We all know what this is about. Training to appear like the Army is worried about fighting domestic militia groups. Add to that, the Department of Justice just announced it is creating a new, quote, domestic terror unit, specifically to target, quote, far right-wing extremist groups. Folks, listen to me and listen to me carefully. This is all a ploy to scare Americans into believing Trump-loving conservatives are dangerous and must be dealt with.
I've decided to establish a domestic terrorism unit to augment our existing approach. This group of dedicated attorneys will focus on the domestic terrorism threat. Domestic violent extremists are often motivated by a mix of ideologies and personal grievances. We've seen a growing threat from those who are motivated by racial animus, as well as those who ascribe to extremist, anti-government, and anti-authority ideologies.
Make no mistake about this, they're targeting all of us through a political media campaign to destroy us. None of it's based in truth. Again, I see no real threat of violence from the right. The real threat actually comes from the left. It's what we've seen played out on our TV screens for years now. Look at Black Lives Matter and Antifa. The two of those groups have destroyed and even killed in a far more prolific fashion than any so-called right-wing extremist group has, which brings us back to that CIA advisor. She claims there's another reason why America is vulnerable to descending into civil war, and in her own words, it's when this happens.
And whether ethnic entrepreneurs have emerged in a country that are using racial, religious, or ethnic divisions to try to gain political power.
Ethnic entrepreneurs, she says. So the way I hear that is not the way the media heard it. The media heard it that everybody's trying to stoke racial division, these evil white men. I hear it is that she says ethnic entrepreneurs, people of color, are using racial division for political power. That's a catalyst to civil war, she warns. Well, that is what's happening in America. The ethnic entrepreneurs I see doing all of this, their leaders are, they lead this multi-million-dollar Black Lives Matter movement. That's a business, by the way, right now, which would mean under her definition, it's not Trump supporters pushing us to civil war, but Black Lives Matter and the money behind Antifa. And yet she and the media ignores her own assessment.
If this was the Trump administration, the first organization that we designated as a domestic terrorist group would have been Antifa, which is a fictional organization, or the Black Lives Matter movement.
It's more worrisome what is happening here than what might come over here.
That's absolutely correct. And I think the balance really changed, to be honest, when President Trump took office.
This is our new domestic terror threat. Brainwashed Americans.
The only brainwashing that's going on is coming from that woman, MSNBC, CNN. It's why we have what I call blind liberal zombies right now. It's not Donald Trump. The reality is that the overwhelming majority of Americans, when you talk about civil war here, okay, and why I don't believe it's going to happen, because that overwhelming majority of Americans do not have the passion to wage a physical war against each other.